What's up, y'all? Happy holidays. I hope everybody is in a space where, you are comfortable right now, right? Whatever your particular situation is in life, whether you were able to kick back and celebrate and partake in the holiday season, whether you don't, whether this is a difficult time of year or not, I hope everybody has something to look forward to, okay? And I hope that this video finds you doing well. So I'm coming to y'all with another celebrity natal chart reading, this time for Mr. FNG King. Now, if you like me, I'm official TT status, okay? I don't know who this little youngin is. I don't know who this child, he's a fetus, a newborn baby bird. I have no idea who he is, but upon just a simple Google search and just getting a general gist of who he is, and, because I do look at blogs, so like the neighborhood talk, whatever the case may be, he's also gone viral. What I've deduced, okay, he is a rapper. I believe he is from Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Feel free to, fact check me in the comments. However, he is the adopted son of Finesse2Tymes. That dude, he's built like a chicken McNugget, and he has a harem of thick, big booty bitches, okay? With himself being the fourth thick, big booty bitch. Well, actually, he had 3 of them. Now he's down to 2. So technically, he is the 3rd big booty bitch in the poly, whatever the fuck they have. I guess they're polyamorous. That's a different video for a different day, right? Wow, I'm not even like 3 minutes in the video. This is crazy. So anyway, apparently this little boy, this little hatchling, he's a rapper. I've seen him around just on terms of the internet and them doing like them wild, line different women up and rate me kind of thing, pop the balloon challenges that he'll do. Y'all let me know. Like I said, I'm TT status now. I can't really keep up with the keep up, but he does, like, they would do all of those things, and Finesse2Tymes would kind of parade the little boy around and kind of egg him on in terms of all of just the ignorant shit that you could think of that would possibly come with a thug rapper, a very unenlightened type of thug rapper who's parading around a child. Anytime you have grown adults hanging out with children that aren't theirs, you know what I'm saying? Think about it. A lot of these niggas don't even want to take care of their own kids, right? And I'm not saying Finesse2Tymes is a deadbeat. I think he has a daughter that he had with Suge. Great, whatever. He seems like a great father based on that connection. But especially when it comes to men they have children from like a previous relationship or, whatever the case may be. A lot of these niggas don't even take care of their own kids. So anytime you have situations where grown ass men are around children or want to be around children, I hate to say it, it's some funny money shit going on, especially if we're talking about a particular brand of male. Okay, a particular brand of guy. A nigga like Finesse2Tymes, niggas who's walking around doing the money spread, gambling, thinking they pimping bitches, living this, like certain type of lifestyle, be for real. So apparently, Finesse2Tymes said that the little boy ran away. The little boy got on live and said, actually, Finesse2Tymes has been mistreating me. And I'm paraphrasing, but basically saying that Finesse2Tymes exposed him to guns, violence, certain adult and just inappropriate situations. He knew a lot of what was going on in Finesse2Tymes' household. Talking about Sugar had guns and he got guns and, he ran off on this plug and did this business deal and that business deal. And he was in the car with them when they had guns, about to go on the high speed chase. It was just a lot. It was a lot. But it was not surprising, right? It's not surprising. Even when a lot of people heard that Finesse2Tymes went live and was saying that the little boy ran away from him because he wouldn't take him to dice games and stuff like that. A big critique that people had of Finesse2Tymes was, well, nigga, you exposed this little boy to God knows what, right? You essentially took him and propped him up and used him to your advantage. And there could have been some financial gain from it, you know. Like I said, they're on internet platforms and spaces, gaining lots of clicks, views, traction, generating a lot of interest. I don't know if there were business deals signed on the back end. Apparently the little boy's mom is dope. She's a crackhead or alcoholic, you know. So it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, but what I wanted to do was take a look at the little boy FNG King's natal chart. And because he's a minor, I want to do so specifically within the scope of discussing how the adults around him are currently failing him in a huge way. And I really do hope, okay, there is a reckoning, or that there's a way to turn this around. And these are all things that we can definitely get into and explore within the context of his natal chart, right? Like I said, I want to just specifically focus on that. And some topics I will not get as deeply into. You know, y'all know I'm all about keeping it real and raw. And you can't keep it real and raw without compromising certain shit, you know, from a moral standpoint, because once again we are talking about a child, so certain shit y'all just gotta read in between the lines with. And but I definitely want to dissect just how detrimental his current situation is, in hopes of like it could even be for just educational purposes, but, you know, generating change. Hopefully, maybe he'll see it one day. I don't know. Somebody around him see it one day. God bless. Here we go. Okay, so based on what I was able to get my hands on, Lil King is from somewhere in Tennessee. Now, I don't know if it's Memphis. I don't know if it's Chattanooga. Okay. But just as a placeholder, I said Memphis. Yeah, so, you know, they take that with a grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt. If anybody has his actual, you know, or an update for his place of birth, put it in the comments. And if it makes that much of a difference in his natal chart, I might get around to doing another one, or at least covering it in a live stream or something like that, like after the fact, right? But just for the, you know, purpose of this particular video, we're going to go with Memphis, Tennessee. Okay. All right. Now, I also have, 2 different, dates of birth for him, but I'm going to go with the first one. So depending on what you look up, okay, if you look up, where he's from, there's a particular article that says that he was born in May of 2013. But when you look up like his social medias and things like that, it shows him celebrating his birthday on January 11th of 2024. So like last year when he turned 11, which would make him a Capricorn sun. And surprise, surprise, we are in Capricorn season. Now, if you know anything about the nature of Capricorn and its archetype, you know that Capricorn is all about seniority. It's all about age. It's very adult, right? It's very grown, very experienced. And a lot of Capricorn children are put in situations where maybe they have to kind of embody some of these qualities. So this would actually make him being a Capricorn sun a bit more fitting. And therefore, me choosing to do this particular reading at this particular time, you know, it being Capricorn season now, I'm a Capricorn North Node. So, you know, naturally my attention is going to go towards the youth, honey. We gotta figure out what the hell is going on. So let's go with Capricorn. Okay, we'll go with Capricorn. Once again, unless something else comes up, and then we can always explore other options. I'm not above being wrong, and I'm not above, you know, experimenting here. But this is just the approach we're going to take for today's video. And you guys let me know what you think in the comments as well. So I have King being born January 11th, 2013, in Memphis, Tennessee at 12, that's actually going to be the placeholder time that we use, just because I don't know his actual time of birth. So with that in mind, just take this with a grain of salt. Once again, take this reading, take the chart with a grain of salt. Okay? Now, King has his sun at the 21st degree of Capricorn, which, once again, that theme involving elders, being around people who are older than you. A lot of Capricorns can be a lot, like old in the head. If you ever heard of that phrase when somebody is like referring to a child, or when old people look at a kid and say, oh, he or she done been here before. They done been here before. They're referring to the fact that the child seems very old in spirit. Maybe they have mannerisms that are very mature, or whatever the case may be. Maybe they sit and overhear adult conversations, which he also has his sun in conjunction to his Mercury at the 17th degree of Capricorn. So that could quite literally deal, because Mercury, remember, deals with how we pick up information. It could deal with people ear hustling or, like that kind of mercurial theme, especially when in children, can make for a very curious child, or a child who can also just be nosy is another word to use. Very nosy, very inquisitive. And with this conjunction taking place in Capricorn, a lot of it is going to center around like adult experiences or things that could put them way ahead of their time, or people who could come across as very grown. Another really famous example that I like to use in this Capricorn spirit would be Aaliyah, the songstress Aaliyah, the late and great Aaliyah. She was very much a Capricorn herself. And, that her situation is a completely different story for a different day. But it still very much aligns with the theme of when she first came out, a lot of people did think she was older than what she was. That was a part of her branding, which makes sense because the sun in astrology can deal with how we market ourselves. Or even from an entertainment perspective, you will look at the sun of a celebrity's chart to see how they kind of marketed themselves, or how, they're branding themselves publicly to the public and what they're known for. And she was known for being well above her age and messing with older men, the sun dealing with men. But I digress. If we take this and apply this to King's situation, the sun could also deal with the father, the men in, his life. Sun in conjunction of Mercury could also be relatives. So, I don't know if because this conjunction could either make him the eldest sibling or an only child. I'm not quite sure what it is. If anybody knows, feel free to confirm. But there could also have been like older cousins and things like that. Or like if somebody grew up in a neighborhood where there was just a lot of older kids around. And these influences, to be fair, because it's a conjunction, could be good influences. They have the potential to be good influences, right? Conjunctions work both ways, but they could also be negative influences. Right? Having older people around you, exposing you to shit that you ain't got no business being exposed to. Capricorn can very much be well grown, too grown, and too grown. Slow it down. Slow your roll, baby. You ain't there yet. So that's something else to think about. Or even where his mindset with Sun in conjunction of Mercury is in Capricorn is very grown, very experienced. And I actually wouldn't be surprised with this conjunction if he had, because he's supposed to be a rapper, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he had like an adult, like a man, a grown-ass man writing his lyrics for him, which shouldn't really be surprising. Capricorn could also be exposed to the harsh realities of life. So when the sun is in Capricorn, just on a human level, you do see a lot of these individuals placed in situations where hardship could be a dominant theme. or even particularly earlier on in life. Now, it doesn't always have to be bad, because the way that this can kind of shift or play itself out in this person's favor, depending, of course, on the chart in its entirety, but it could play out in a person who is very ambitious and determined to overcome and achieve success. You know, some of the most successful people can have a very healthy dose of Capricorn energy, but especially the sun, when it's well aspected, well placed, can produce a very strong, determination. And once again, that kind of ambition for success. And a lot of these people can be very goal oriented, and they just tend to crush and dominate, even in the areas of business. And once again, we got to give Mr. Little King his credit. He managed to stand out to some capacity, to be a child star on the internet, or to, gain some type of traction and attention. And, Capricorn can even deal with respect, authority. Now, you could flip this on his head and even interpret this as him being around people who, and this could just be the type of person that he can grow up to be, like, where he likes to surround himself with people with whom he respects, right? But the issue is, and here's the caveat with Capricorn, and especially Capricorn children. This is the caveat. Even though Capricorn does deal with respect and that's not necessarily to say that all Capricorns are respectful. The caveat is you have to position yourself as somebody that is worthy of respect in order to receive respect from a Capricorn. And when I say this, I mean, even as authority figures, if your child loses respect for you, it's going to be a hard time disciplining them. Capricorn rules and governs everything that is of discipline because of that Saturn rulership. So there is, all in all, a natural inclination for Capricorn to challenge authority if they don't respect it, aka producing a badass child, a kid that could be viewed as off the rails, which, according to Mr. Chicken McNugget, what's his name, Finesse2Tymes, he said that Mr. King, Little King here, was out of control. And it's not lost upon me that Finesse2Tymes is a Capricorn North Node, which essentially kind of creates this, and especially if King's Sun is on his North Node. This is also another good example in Sinistry of how, like, Sun North Node conjunctions, although can be good for you, don't necessarily always have to play out like a bunch of roses. And this is not meant to scare you guys or scare anybody, but in the essence of Capricorn, and this is Capricorn season, we're talking about, hey, we got to be realistic a little bit about it too. You know what I'm saying? You'll get a little good, you'll get a little, and I can create another video for a different day for the good. But as it pertains to this conjunction, especially between Finesse2Tymes and Kings, this could definitely be a karmic relationship where King is kind of testing Finesse2Tymes' ability to grow up and show up as an adult, his motherfucking self. Okay, because that's just what it does as a Capricorn North Node for a lot of the people with that lunar nodal position. That's the challenge. Okay, that's their challenge. That's what they have to overcome in this lifetime. And it can come with issues with children. A lot of karmic issues with children, raising children, and things of that nature. So with that in mind, that kind of explains a lot of that Capricorn energy from Lil King, okay? Now, King also has his moon in Capricorn, so heavy dose of Capricorn energy, okay, all over his chart here. His moon is in Capricorn now. To the degree it could vary, we're not quite sure. because we don't know his time of birth. The sun, or excuse me, the moon is actually a lot more because it travels so fast. You would definitely need the time of birth to get a concrete understanding of the exact degree of the moon. But nonetheless, we can still deduce he was a Capricorn moon. And that moon could have, right, theoretically, I feel like that moon could have been conjunct Mercury as well. Now, this also could reinforce and just kind of like imprint that, once again, very mature kind of personality. The moon could even be your personality. And really expose one to like the harsh realities of life. Once again, that theme that comes with that Capricorn, hardship, suffering, going through poverty. I've known so many Capricorns who, they may not, this is not to say your entire life story has to be that, right? But there has been some very distinct season involving that in their lives, whether it's like, for example, my mother is a Capricorn, and growing up, her family was very, very, very poor. She grew up one of 6 children in the home, and lots of mouths to feed, and parents who a bus driver and a postal worker. So there's that. So as it pertains to King, I feel like King, because they said his mother is on drugs. Who knows where his father is? I think his father's around, maybe not real. Who knows, right? But the fact that you have this little child on the internet having this rap career where he is saying some of the craziest, like almost like the adults, the authority figures that are in charge of him are also exploiting him. Capricorn deals with net gains and once again, that type of business mentality, business mindset. Another way to interpret this is him being around adults and men who are like that. Highly successful men, possibly. I'll give Finesse2Tymes his big one. You know what I'm saying? Granted, he's not the most famous rapper, but, it's so many rappers out here. If you make the blogs, consider yourself lucky, right? And that could be a lot of fame for some. But the downside of that is there's nothing loving, nurturing, kind about any of these personal placements. And that's kind of alarming when I'm looking at the chart of a child, because it is definitely going to be a huge indication, specifically when we talk about the child's moon, of how they're going to be raised, especially if the mother is around or in the picture, or even just like maternal influences. So, I thought that was kind of unfortunate because, this could create Mercury in conjunction to the moon, and then that Capricorn sun or as well. It's just this huge stellium could ultimately create, like I said, somebody who's just a child who knows too much, who's exposed to too much, and could find themselves in proximity with adults who are looking to exploit them to a certain degree. That's just what it is. It could deal with doing business. So even if we take it back to the Sinistry between him and Finesse2Tymes, his son on Finesse's North Node could be them doing business together, him having Finesse having guardianship over him to a certain degree. But then also exploitation, that door is wide open. And then also you have his Mercury conjoined to Pluto and Capricorn. This could deal with where he's been corrupted. Someone who could have been corrupted in terms of like what they've been exposed to, a child, like their mindset. This could come from their peers. These could be badass kids in school. I'll say that. And, children with Mercury in conjunction to Pluto, especially in Capricorn, they study you. They watch you. Like when I say you, I mean like the adults, the people around them. That ties back to that nosy kind of mentality as well. But you don't get shit past them. And then if they're not stimulated, they're naturally drawn towards getting into trouble. That also deals with him rapping about sex and all that other shit prematurely. This nigga he look like he don't even know how to wipe his ass. dingleberries and dookie crumbs all in his booty. And you talking about what you gonna do to a girl and this and that and that. Please. And once again, this could also be indicative of the adults and very much reflective of the adults around him. The Capricorn moon in conjunction to Mercury could even deal with where a lot of his personality, he's mirroring, mimicking conversations, mimicking. I even intuitively pick up on like tendencies and certain even like facial expressions and certain, like, he learns all of that from the people around them. And generally speaking, most children do. But what I'm saying with King is a lot of this influence as well could be driven to like, so that people, it gives exploitative. So like other people are benefiting from parading him around kind of thing. That's kind of what it feels like. Yeah. But with this also being a conjunction, Mercury in conjunction to that Pluto and Capricorn, like I said, he ain't going. And this could make for a very sharp individual. So like I could see him being like wanting to be more so in control of certain things, his own stuff, especially as he gets older. That Mercury in conjunction to Pluto could also even speak to him being exposed to like criminality, specifically with it being in Capricorn, of the adults around him. And when he alleged that Finesse2Tymes had him around, guns and stuff like that, I could definitely see that. And y'all know what else came to mind? Especially if we talk about all that Capricorn energy, even with jumping back to the moon in conjunction of Mercury in Capricorn, I could see him having been exposed to women prematurely, specifically as it pertains to hoes. Finesse2Tymes, and once again, that's his Capricorn North Node coming out in full force, but he calls himself some sort of pimp child, and which is not hard to believe because he has like this, once again, this harem of women. Sugar, one of them's name is Sugar. Sugar actually bad as hell. All right, Sugar or whatever. She bad as hell. Gorgeous woman, fine as hell. And then the other one, I don't know who the other one is. And then there was another one, but then they kicked her off like Destiny's Child. You know what I'm saying? Like a Destiny's Child member. I don't know. But long story short, if King was around them, I could see him being exposed to like that kind of pimp mentality, just grown shit involving women, that grown dynamic. And that's where we get off into this Venus in opposition to Pluto. Him having that Venus Venus conjoined Pluto and Capricorn. That's where we can get into that theme of abuse, even sexual abuse from like older people, women, or once again, that corruptive, even predatory influence. It can deal with him making a lot of money, once again, making the adults around him a lot of money as well. So y'all see this kind of trend within his natal chart. I don't like it. I just don't like it. King is also a Taurus South Node. So, number one, this could point towards his musical inclination, musical abilities. It can give him a lot of talent, or just make him very naturally gifted, right? When it comes to even his own like business acumen. I wouldn't put that past him. He's a kid and all, but he's not stupid. He's not your average kid, unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances. But in this lifetime, he's going to have to learn how to find different ways to make that work for him. Because he's going to continuously encounter like either predatory, you could look at this as like him encountering predatory people in the music business, or corrupt people in the music business, or him feeling like, or taking things at face value. And then as he gets older, he realizes, there's a lot of there's a dark side to everything, or there's a, and unfortunately the way to learn a lot of those lessons is to find yourself exposed to like the darker parts of life. A lot of Scorpio North nodes, this can be one of the more challenging lunar nodal placements, in my opinion. Not to say that if you have Scorpio on the North node, you can't have a happy, fulfilling life. Scorpio is very meaningful. Scorpio North nodes can live a life that is actually full of meaning. It's just that it could also come with, it's not quiet. It's not an easy life path. It's not a lot of times it can come with trauma. Scorpio is because it rules the 8th house, it sets the stage for some very dynamic experiences that range from spiritual, completely like restorative experiences to straight up, like I said, trauma, death, tower moments, loss, abuse. Scorpio North nodes can find themselves up close and personal with that. But they can also find themselves in very powerful positions, but very fruitful, influential positions of life. So it just depends. But just based on how the facts and what we know, I could definitely see him, just as a child, this would be a hard place for a child to be energetically, where he can find himself, like I said, misused and mistreated in a lot of ways. But it's going to force him to evolve, though. Venus in conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn, Mercury in conjunction to Pluto in Capricorn. As he gets older, he's going to be, like I said, a badass mamma jamma. This ain't no regular kid. He's still a kid, but yeah, I could definitely see him, he has the capacity to Scorpio is all about reinventing themselves. A prediction I do have is that over the years, as he gets older, he could rebrand or once again make the decision to reinvent himself, and continue rapping or find himself in the industry, even management, maybe to a certain extent, one extent or another. He also has his Venus squaring Uranus at the 4th degree of Aries. I don't like this aspect because this could deal with him having inappropriate relationships with mainly men, because Uranus and Aries is a very masculine energy. Uranus, the number 4, that it just kind of imprints this theme of like you have a group of men sitting around playing experimental games with the kid, trying to get the kid to do this and, get the kid to do, or even if he's interacting with these adults on an online capacity, he's streaming with them, all that Uranus shit, where it could just be inappropriate. And I'm going to just leave it at that. Like I said, some things I'm not going to get too deep into because he's a kid. But it could also even deal with where he learns a lot of those ways in terms of objectifying women from the people around him. And so as he gets older, like as a grown man, I'm not very hopeful in terms of the type of partner he probably would be, especially with that Venus-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn. Them Capricorn, especially if they're dark side, oh my God. God bless. Abusive, mean, controlling, probably a mind fuck with his Mercury in conjunction to Pluto, so like playing mind games. And God bless, Lord have mercy, help the children. What else do we have here? So yeah, that's a lot of it too. And then just to kind of go over some more of the synastry between him and Finesse. Finesse's Uranus is forming a conjunction to King's Sun. Okay, or excuse me, his Mercury. So that could deal with them having a relationship of convenience. Once again, reinforcing that internet duo kind of thing they had going on, like where they, he's kind of toting him around on the internet and blah, blah, blah. Finesse's Neptune is conjoined to King's Mercury and Capricorn. That could deal with Finesse. I wouldn't be surprised if Finesse actually was writing for him, because he's involved with him creatively. You know, once again, all of this is about how he finna get money, how Finesse is gonna make money. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a part of it. Or him telling him certain things, like Finesse telling King certain things, gaslighting him, brainwashing him. So, you know, there's that. It's a lot of things that I don't like about this that kind of jump out at me. And with King complaining about how Finesse doesn't do anything for him, I could definitely see the dynamic where Finesse can be really cheap. Once again, even if we go back to the fact that, you know, there's all this Capricorn energy, especially with Venus in Capricorn and then King having his Taurus South Node. Yeah, like there could be issues that he's having, like financial problems, issues with, you know, maybe where he is working really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if they had that kid doing all kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where he's working really, really hard. Even like, how does he go to school with his son in conjunction to Mercury? I wonder if like they got like a tutor on the road because it's in Capricorn. I don't know. But you know, it just kind of gives he give me Nickelodeon kid. His chart kind of reads as like a Nickelodeon kid, if you get what I'm saying, like in the making. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You know, this could deal with like where he's being exploited financially or having money taken from him. I could so see Finesse2Tymes being cheap as a bitch. And also the theme of trafficking does come up with his Jupiter, Gemini, squaring Chiron and Pisces. You know, or they could deal with where this child right here, if Finesse2Tymes keeps poking the bear, it's going to fuck around and get him caught up in some shit. You know, that could be somebody who can put folks on blast and get caught up in something pretty scandalous. Because that's the issue. He's been exposed to too much. Way too much. But to be honest, I don't feel bad for the adults involved, though. I don't feel bad. I just hope he grows up to not be a horrible person, because of what he's going through. But between his upbringing, like I said, his family, his mother, and having that sun and moon in Capricorn could absolutely make you predisposed to having parents who are willing to sell you out 1,000%. So all in all, I'm going to go ahead and leave that right where it's at. Y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think about this little boy. Do y'all know who I'm talking about? What y'all think about his chart, the synastry between him, or the relationship between he and Finesse2Tymes? And I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.